Welcome to the home studio, everybody. This is a place I know you've seen for a couple years now. I've had this room set up for 3+ years, actually. But only in the past dozen months have I really optimized this space, made it functional for YouTube live streaming, for videos being recorded, for overall content creation. I really wanted a space here at home where I could simply walk in the door, push a couple buttons, and get going. Get live streaming, get recording, but the big thing is I had to make this room set up so that one person could control everything from just this one spot. And this is kind of the main emphasis I'm going to show you of the video today, how I control all of this stuff with a couple stream decks, with an ATEM Mini Pro ISO, with an Apollo Twin X. I'm just going to literally show you everything I use here at my disposal to make this pretty simple, but also to really give this room the same resources as a small television studio. Let's begin with the heart and soul of this entire operation, the ATEM Mini Pro ISO by Blackmagic Design. This is front and center for a reason because everything passes through it. It's a 4-input video switcher, but the audio passes through it. And from here, I'm either going straight into a hard drive where I record, or I'm going out this Ethernet jack for live streaming to YouTube or somewhere else on the internet. Yeah, this is the backbone. This is a tremendous device. It's only been out now for about a year and a half, but it's become so popular for obvious reasons. Now, there is the hardware side of this. Occasionally, you will see me touching buttons here on the face of this switcher. It's pretty straightforward, but it could also be complicated if you've never used a video switcher before. However, the great part of all of this is that there's a software side. Yeah, I'm showing you now here the software side of this video switcher. So everything can be controlled. In fact, somewhere in the output section right now, it'll tell me that I'm recording this, in fact. But if you want to see me change to just that, click the button. I click camera 1, there I am. Okay, I'll go back to this. Now, this software side is nice, but how does this help me if I'm trying to do 5 things at once, use different graphics, use a picture-in-picture like I just did? How did I do that? I'll get to that in a second. It begins with a macro. Okay, I just ran a macro. This is a list of things I've created, pre-programmed instructions for the switcher. For example, if I want just a single shot of me with a graphic that says live in the corner of the screen, I've already got that made. It's number 1 here, so I recall and run, boom, there we go. And on my multi-view over here, it just popped up where I can see everything that just happened, the graphic that's on the screen, the audio meters. I have it set up so that that's the default to happen when I click that button. All right, so let me go back to that for just a second. So I switched back to a picture-in-picture with the computer screen so you can see this again. But if I want to show you just my Mac with a clean screen without me on it, bang, there we go. You want me back? Bang. You want to see the GoPro over my shoulder with a live graphic on it? Boom, there it is. And there's my multi-view like I was talking about. So it is pretty simple that you can understand creating scenes with macros that easy with the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro ISO version or any other version. There's a couple different models of this switcher. Okay, so now I can do that, but even this, like clicking on the screen, a single shot of me with no graphics, and I can do all this, but what's the good if I'm live streaming if I'm constantly looking over here? Wouldn't it be nice if I just had a device with buttons? Because the one fault I will say of the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, I would love it so much more if it had built-in programmable buttons for macros. It doesn't. So here's how I get around that. Here's how I truly leverage that. I use software and an interface called Companion. It's by Bitfocus. And as I launch the graphical user interface here, you can see that all I'm doing is creating more buttons, right? Software-based buttons to control items on the ATEM Mini. Run a macro. For example, Mac Clean. That's macro number 6, Mac Clean. And if we go back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there it is, Mac Clean. Okay, so now with Bitfocus Companion, I can do page after page of different graphics and different things. And by the way, I think if I double click on these, or test actions. Yeah, oh, there we go. It just did it. It gave me an over-the-shoulder graphic. This was, by the way, for my 10,000 subscriber broadcast on YouTube. That's still in my system, but I can change these out. I think there's a Matt Olson one. There's a one for a Sharks player, William Eklund. These are all already in the system. Let me go back to this. So now that I've created these shortcuts, okay, great. Now what good does that do me? I'm controlling the ATEM Mini with more software, but eventually, how do I get it to the hardware side? Watch this. I bring in the Elgato Stream Deck. Now, you will see here, as I push that button, I actually have two of these devices on my desk. I liked the XL so much, and I have page after page of different things I can do here, and I'll get into the soundboard side of this in just a second, but right here are all of my Bitfocus companion shortcuts. The reason I have two of these is sometimes I want to use the soundboard entirely over here, and then over here, I want to use all of the Bitfocus companion shortcuts. But again, I didn't really explain that part yet, did I? Okay, so let's go back to the computer screen. Actually, let's do it like this. See? Look at all the different options I have here. So now what I do on Stream Deck is I create buttons here with Bitfocus shortcuts. Like, for example, GoPro with an over-the-shoulder graphic. Okay, so if I push that button, let me just show you what it ends up looking like. There's the GoPro shot with the over-the-shoulder graphic that's right over here, okay? But going back to this, button 4, page 11. Okay, so I go over here to page 11, button 4. Look, there it is, 11.4, right on the screen. So now you're finally seeing how I'm getting this back to hardware so that I can use this device here to push any button. For example, you want to see me with an over-the-shoulder graphic of Matt Olson? Boom, push that button. You want to see it go back to this? Now this one I have, it's called picture-in-picture for telestration. So this is, and I'm using this right now in a totally different way than I normally do, but this makes sense when it's something else and not this camera that's over my shoulder right now. Okay, but you can see here how quickly I can change between things. If I want to do double boxes for like a podcast style interview, there we go. There's me over here. And then what you're seeing on the left side here is a window where I would put a Skype box or a Zoom box. I would have a guest on. I would do it all that way via my computer screen. Simple as that. And if I want to, in the interview, if I want to do a shot of just me, well, on the GoPro or me on my main camera or whatever, it really is that easy. Or how about this? Here's another button I can push, and I wish you could see the text a little bit better. It says 2x1 box. It's also this same color button right here, 2x1 box. Now I have this available where it's kind of a split screen, and I can show you sports stats or anything else. So this just goes to show you how easy it is to control the ATEM Mini Pro via Stream Deck and also using Bitfocus Companion. You can leverage all these macros as I go back to the macros. And I don't even have all the pages full. Quite honestly, here's page 1. Page 2 is a little bit scattered there. Look at page 3, 4, 5, all empty. So I've got a lot more building I can do. The opportunities here are pretty endless. And by the way, all the media that's stored, you're asking, well, where do these graphics come from? For example, here in the ATEM Mini software control, all of this on the software side of it, it's connected to the Ethernet. So my computer and it are on the same network. I have my choices of all these different graphics, and a lot of things on here you're seeing I don't even use or I haven't used in a very long time. But there's 20 images like this graphic that I'm using right now that can be stored and brought up at a moment's notice. So all of that, hopefully pretty simple to understand. The ATEM Mini Pro also has buttons on it hardware-wise for, and you can kind of see the red light there. Want to record? Just hit record. Want to stop? Hit the stop button below it. Want to start live streaming? Top right. It says on air. There's also a button right below it. But I've also created shortcut buttons here on top of the Stream Deck. Look, I've been recording for 10 minutes here. And I've been streaming for none because thankfully I didn't hit the wrong button this time. If I want to start live streaming to YouTube right now, I'm literally one button push away. It is that simple. On my multi-view monitor here, you're not going to see it, but right now I'm switching through. Actually, let me do it like this. I'm switching through the different sources so I can look at a bunch of different things. My computer, the multi-view, whatever's on program, which is me right now. So it is that simple to customize the ATEM Mini and use all of the buttons on the top of it here through macros, through Bitfocus Companion. There is one more thing that I want to show you. This is really cool. It's for YouTube live streams, especially where I do Q&A sessions, and it's a plugin called Live Chat Overlay. Let me bring it up here on my computer screen. This is what it looks like normally how I see it on the screen, but the way I utilize this is with a Luma key with the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro, like most normal switchers do. This allows me to key out everything surrounding this graphic, so when I push a button called Chat Key, it's a macro, boom, that's on the bottom of my screen. And what I'm still seeing, though, I'll show you what I'm seeing, is this. So when I want that comment to go away, I'll click Clear. Let me show you what happens when I do. Boom, it goes off the screen. For example, if I wanted to see another comment come up, let me just type one in. Hello there, everyone. Done. Okay, so that comment just popped up, let's say, in my live stream, in the live chat. And I want to highlight it. I want to bring it up. I go, boom, hello there, everyone. So me just popped up, but here's how you would see it on the screen. Simple as that. I love this plugin. It's for Chrome. It's fantastic. It's easy to just, navigate through what is a pretty big screen here. I mean, when this chat is humming, the thing's moving pretty quick. You just click on the one you want. It pops right up. When you want to get rid of it, let me get rid of me for a second. You just hit clear and it goes away that simple. I think this is a fantastic tool for every live streamer. It lets you bring up the comments you want. You don't have to see everybody's comment. You don't have to do filtering, at least, more than just selecting the comments you want. Okay, so far we've talked a lot about the video elements, how to change between different cameras, use graphics, different sources, all that stuff. We haven't talked much about audio. Eventually I'll get into this microphone, the signal processing I use for this room. But first, why don't we hit up the soundboard? All right, so we've got the computer screen up here. I'll bring up this app called Farrago? I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but it is fantastic as a soundboard. Let me move it over. Let me put myself back on the screen here. Now, the great thing again is that I'm using this very same Stream Deck, right? I have a totally different page. This bottom right is my page button. So there's a soundboard page, kind of a mixed page here with different applications and some soundboard elements. This one is entirely for the ATEM Mini. I've just organized the pages these ways. And also this small one over here, same thing. The bottom right button is allowing me to change between pages, but I pretty much use the Stream Deck Mini here for only video switching, right? So there's no soundboard on here because this one with more buttons is perfect for the soundboard. But it really is simple as this. Once I've hit the button for the application, you want some wah-wah, you want a buzzer, you want a rim shot, drum roll, please. The air horn's got to be on there. I've got all the different sound effects. I try and stay away from the toilet humor. Yeah, there you go, see? When you're near San Francisco, you gotta have that one. I can fade all of them out, and then I can just hit the record scratch. I've got Super Mario in here. Right? Everything you would want to probably use instantly, I've thought of. Now, there are some deeper level stuff here, deeper level sound effects that I don't have yet, but I'll get to that point.
Number 1. Number 2. Number 3.
So when I ever get to like a countdown style, like YouTube video or something like that, I definitely use that. So there you see it. It's just a lot of easy, easily accessible buttons, simply accessed buttons. And yeah, I've got stuff here for work. A lot of times I'll start off a live stream with the hockey theme. or if it's baseball season, or our theme for the pre- and post-game shows. Right? You can fade everything out. I also have just kind of generic music in here. It's all ready to go. You want somebody to take a slap shot? Probably can't hear it as well, but... Or they'll hit the crossbar. Or they'll stop on the ice. All right, simple as that. Just dream with me here for a second. All right, so that is the soundboard. Again, and I really forgot to explain kind of the main point of all of this here is that software is controlling all of this. The Stream Deck, all it does is create a button command. Like, for example, that dreaming little sound effect right there that you just saw. It's labeled as just Z on Farrago. But if I just hit the Z on my keyboard, it does the same thing. So all Stream Deck is doing, right as I go back here to Stream Deck for a second, all Stream Deck is doing when I want it to play that sound effect, and let me just go to a different page here, Soundboard 2. There it is, Dream Sound Effect, Hotkey, Z. And the same goes, by the way, for all those macros. Maybe I didn't mention this before too. All those macros on the ATEM, there's a button you drag right here, companion button. You drag that into one of these spots, and then all you have to do is tell it what you want it to do. For the chat key, for example, it's button 3, page 8 on Bitfocus companion. It's that simple. So you program Bitfocus, you program your Stream Deck, you're ready to go with custom buttons on different pages, and then you can change the layout here. Same thing with Farrago. You just customize and you can retitle them. It's quiet. I think it says quiet numbskulls I'm broadcasting. Or if you want to hear what a hockey practice sounds like, or thunder or crickets or ambient noise. There's also, where is it here? Maybe on the third page. The NBC chimes. Oops, hang on. Simple as that, right? I'm a company guy. So all of that is exactly how I need it, right? I can't be fumbling through a bunch of different things, and what I need here on this desk is the ability to have these two things right here set up so that in an instant I can access them and I can do what I want quickly. Okay, one of the last things I'll discuss in this video is actually one of my favorites, audio. I recognize as a TV guy, the visuals are very important. The lighting and how this place looks behind me, that's actually for a separate time and a separate video. The LED system, the 5-point lighting I have going on in here, we'll save that. But how this room sounds is truly important to me. The entire space is acoustically treated. You can kind of see some of that here. There's a giant standing panel. There's panels on the walls that just deaden the sound in this room, so it doesn't reverberate. It's not very echoey. It kind of tricks your ears when you walk in. It's so quiet inside here. There's not a lot of echo because normal rooms do sound that way if they're not treated. So that is step number 1. Steps number 2 and 3 are this great microphone and the great processing device that helps it out. This is the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X, and this microphone is the Neumann U87 AI. Now, all of this, I fully admit, is overkill. It's among the best things you can get, but that's kind of the level of where I wanted to set this home studio. I'm in it for the long run. I wanted to make things look and especially sound as good as possible. So I'll explain the signal chain real quick of how I use this, how I get this to sound, because quite honestly, if I turn off all the processing, it sounds entirely different. I talk into this mic. It goes down an XLR cable that's embedded in this Rode boom arm. It then goes straight into the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. And just like the ATEM Mini Pro switcher I showed you earlier, there's also a huge software side to this hardware. And let me pull it up here on the screen so that you can see it. It looks just like this. There I am talking. There's the levels as I go. But this is the entire signal chain from a preamp, where my mouse is right now, the SSL E channel, and all of these settings are optimized for the mic, how much gain, there's some expansion going on. That means basically when I stop talking, it keeps it pretty quiet. There's low and high pass filters, which are actually not engaged here. There's some equalization on this. There's a little bit of level boosting out of this. So that's just one. I have this compressor turned off, but after that, I'm using a Neve 1073 EQ, boosting a little bit on the low end. I'm cutting a little bit of the mid-range signal at about 700 hertz, it looks like there. I'm boosting on the high end at about 12,000 hertz, and I have a low cut roll off there at about 80 hertz. So all of this, if you don't understand this, it's totally fine. Just know that there's a lot of processing going on with this mic. And then last but not least, there's the Teletronics LA2A emulator, which right now, I think I am kind of slamming a little bit. Optimally, I want to keep that between 0 and 3 dB. But what happens here, what this does, this keeps my voice at a similar volume, whether I'm talking quiet, right? You can still hear me fine. I mean, I'm not talking loud at all. Or also if I start to yell real fast, look at that, look what just happened, right? That needle got slammed to the wall. But it didn't come out as that loud on the recording. That's what compression does. That's what this device is doing. So this is all saved right here. I have a preset for it. It is that simple. But watch what happens, for example, when I turn all of this off. Check, 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 1, 2. Okay, so here's how the microphone sounds with all of the processing off. And it's still fine, right? Like, this microphone, which I haven't really got into yet, is brilliant. It's beautiful. This very microphone model is used to record a lot of the hit records that you listen to, or movie trailer voices, or recordings for animated movies. Like this is among the gold standard of microphones. But here's how it sounds, completely raw and unprocessed, right? So now you've heard this for a second. Let me give you this. Now here's how it sounds processed. That's pretty crazy, right? And this is what you're used to, and this is also hopefully a little bit less fatiguing on the ear. But yeah, that goes to show you how much is going on behind this microphone. It's a great start. It's a great canvas. The Universal Audio Apollo Twin X does all of the other work. And yes, what I do have here is presets for other microphones that I've either used or own. So if I want to plug in a different mic, all I have to do is hit its preset and it's already ready to go for my voice. I guess there's one more thing I didn't really show you or talk about in this video, and it actually takes up quite a bit of real estate here. It's my audio mixer. It's the Soundcraft Signature 12 MTK. Now, this was one of my initial purchases. I needed it for obvious reasons, to get the right sound, to do live streams, but right now, everything does still pass through it. However, it's mostly used when I actually use this room for live television broadcasting. I can create a mix minus where another studio can send me their audio. I can mix that into my headphones, but not send it back to them, if that makes sense. So this offers me all the flexibility in the world. If something came up tomorrow that was a difficult studio situation, this could take care of it audio-wise, just like this, the ATEM Mini Pro ISO could take care of it video-wise. I guess now there's actually one more thing I should talk about while I'm here, because people ask me about all this hardware and gear all the time. I'll quickly give you a rundown, but I'm also going to tell you these top 3 rack units are not even ultimately connected right now. They used to be. The audio processor I just showed you, the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X, this is the device that handles all the processing now. These 3 units used to do all of that. Now they're just here because they light up and they look nice in the background. But if I ever needed additional processing, or, I keep them around for obvious reasons. I don't dislike them. I just don't use them right now. This is just a dB display. Again, it's mostly for looks, for ambiance here as I talk. You can see that the levels move. And then right below it, this I do actually use. This is a headphone amp. And you can see here it lights up on all the various channels. But my headphones, didn't talk about those either. I will in just a second. This is where I plug in my headphones, or if there's guests ever in this small space. I think my wife has been the only guest in the past 2 years in this room. I'd plug in her headphones here too. So about these headphones, Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro, 250 ohm edition. These are great. They're neutral. They give you a full sound. Most importantly, they are super comfortable. These have you can't really see it there, but a velour pad on the inside, which does not get you all sweaty after long sessions. Also, the ear cups are super, super deep so that your ears don't get flattened as you wear them. They're not like real tight on my head to begin with, but sometimes, headphones that push on your ears, they give you a headache after a while. So these are the headphones that are absolutely my number one choice. I'm not ashamed to tell you I have a pair for here. I have a pair of them for inside my house. I have a pair for my remote studio that I bring along with me. And I also have a pair of DT990s in the house also here that I use for just monitoring. These are closed back, meaning that the cups are sealed on the outside, so sound is not escaping my headphones, but it offers a different sound. The 990s are open back, meaning that there are grills here on the side. Sound does escape, but it gives you kind of a more open and airy and even more of a natural sound, replicating speakers rather than being like headphones. But I swear by these. These are fantastic. I don't want to use anything else. Okay, so that does it. The Stream Deck, huge. The ATEM Mini, huge. The Universal Audio Apollo Twin X, huge. Having a computer with a screen for your studio is huge. This microphone is tremendous, the U87. And even this little GoPro camera up here, which, it doesn't offer the best resolution, but it gives me a nice wide look here at the studio. It's kind of a nice cutaway camera to what I'm using, which, by the way, the main camera, Canon 6D Mark II. That's what I'm currently working with here in the home studio right now. Full frame DSLR. Sure, there are probably more optimal things. Maybe I'll upgrade that someday, but as for right now, it definitely does the trick. So hopefully you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes tour of the home studio. I know it's not for everybody, but if you geek out on this type of thing, that's how I do it. I highly recommend everything that I use here. I wanted hardware stuff. I wanted reliable stuff. I'm used to broadcast quality equipment, and I wanted something of a similar yet affordable variety for the home. And I feel like I've acquired that. I set this up about a year ago. Haven't really made too many wholesale changes, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon.